How is it going, my heroes, my villains, and everybody in between? Sean Ross here, and welcome back, guys, to another live reaction to My Hero Academia. We are on manga chapter number 298, which is entitled Sounds of Collapse.
Why aren't the other heroes helping? Man, these villain attacks are getting insane.
That or the heroes are just slacking off. They're getting soft. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
Open the gates! We hear your silence!
Has anyone been in contact with the families of the children you've allowed to be endangered?
I can feel it. Some unseen thing that you built up in your prime is beginning to crumble. What does it mean to be a symbol? That's what I want to know. All Might.
Now that collapsing sound is definitely referring to Hero Society, though it could also be referring to the collapse of the Tartarus prison system, because with last week's chapter, the prison break finally went down and Tartarus has fallen, thanks to the all-for-one controlled Shigaraki storming the compound and releasing all of its inmates, including Muscular, Moonfish, and Overhaul. And then with the end of the chapter showing Master and Apprentice coming face to face once again, and All for One declaring that his story is far from over. So going into this chapter, are we going to continue off of that point, or are we going to transition away and see how our heroes are recuperating in the hospital? I'm excited to see where this chapter is going to go. So mount, ladies and gentle criminals, without further ado, let's dive right into chapter 298. Okay, so on the first page, we're not starting off at Tartarus.
Flashback.
But we're getting a flashback to My Villain Academia. Yo, I remember this moment right here. This was right after their battle when the League finally got their Maguro sushi, and Skeptic was angry at the fact that they had to pay for all of the League's expenses.
You've got 17.5% in T-bills amortized over the fiscal year. 8% in stocks and bonds. Carry the 9 divided by the gross national product. Fortunately, funeral bouquets are deductible.
You look like a freaking desk jockey!
It was our money that paid for that fish, yeah? As well as your medical treatments, the video doctoring, and Toga's new coats. And then Twice chiming right back at Skeptic saying, yeah? So what? You've got us to thank for your big boss Baldy being here in this hideout and not zonked out in a hospital bed.
Jackass!
I loved the banter going back and forth between Twice and Skeptic. It was a lot of fun. While the Jaku Hospital raid was happening, the president of Detnerat, that was the face I showed to the world at large.
Hello there.
And now we're getting Re-Destro monologue right here. And after relinquishing command of the Metahuman Liberation Army, I took on a new leadership role on the road to the revolution. I've always worn these two faces, and ever since our holy war in Daika City, there have literally been two of me.
Meanwhile.
My followers and I will not rest until the entire city achieves equality. We will equalize the rest of the world. The revolution has begun!
Yo! So there have been two Re-Destros this entire time?
Behold.
Twice made a Re-Destro clone. So this is happening at the same time as both of the raids.
Know my power.
There was a Re-Destro clone, and you can see it gooping right now. It's beginning to fall apart. Imagine my delight when you came to me with that joint development proposal. I knew you people at the Safety Commission always had your eye on us. But when, at last, I was led to believe that you couldn't ignore our products anymore, both my faces were overcome with joy, short-lived though it was. So Re-Destro pulled an Ujiko!
My quirk is called Twice. It's a simple power that turns one thing into two.
Another small fry coming right out!
Leave it to me!
Just like how Ujiko had a clone of him up in the hospital while he worked in the lab, Re-Destro had Twice create a clone of him, so that way the clone could run the company and be the CEO, and he could run the army at the villa.
Oh, yeah.
Yo!
It's all coming together.
Twice's dialogue kind of had like a hidden meaning to it. He was basically saying, your boss is here at the villa while the clone was at the hospital. That's what he was saying.
Bow before me.
Yo, that was subtle right there. Yeah, you can see my boy Mara holding on to the president of the safety commission. So she was attacked during this meeting. But to come at us now with such fire and brimstone, well, isn't this the system you've built up? Your law and your order? Yes, I suppose it was necessary. But we seek order without order. True freedom through liberation. And you see the clone beginning to fall apart and just dissolving into a puddle of mud. The seeds are already sown. Yo. So the commission did bring the Detonarat CEO in, Re-Destro's clone, and they were going to capture him. They planned it at the same time at the raids, not knowing that Re-Destro was actually at the villa. That's crazy.
Oh, shit.
And I do wonder too, since this was happening at the same time as the villa raid, is the clone dissolving because it took too much damage? Or because Hawks, at this very moment, killed Twice? Because the clone can't survive without Twice living. These were developments I was not expecting to get, so this was happening at the same exact time and we had no idea. The seeds are already sown.
6 hours later.
6 hours after the attack on Tartarus. 3:06 a.m. Cheyenne Prison.
But wait!
Yo!
There's more!
This is a long night indeed. All for One not only attacked Tartarus, but went across Japan and started attacking other prisons.
Now then, shall we begin? Another one.
Looks like we made parole twice!
Another one. And another one.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
They began the Tartarus raid at 8:34 p.m. and proceeded to go to prison after prison this entire night. And we can just see prisoners fighting alongside near high-end Nomus. 3:55 a.m., Bagu Prison. 4:30 a.m., Kayun Prison, and just explosions in all of these prisons with inmates breaking out. And then we see aircrafts, looks like they're flying over the ocean right here. And All for One is in one of them. He's in the cockpit. Look at the fear on the pilot's face right here as All for One's hand is like caressing the man's head. This man knows he is about to die. Through use of emergency aircraft that require an official biometric ID to operate, the escaped prisoners from Tartarus and the near high ends proceeded to attack 7 other prisons, freeing additional convicts from 6 of them. Damn. So in total, 7 prisons they attacked. But only convicts from 6 of them managed to be freed. So what happened to that 7th? The one that had no prisoners escape? What happened there? 5:04 a.m.
Victory.
It's bright early in the morning on the next day. And look at this panel with the All for One controlled Shigaraki just sitting on his winged Nomu like a badass, and he is accompanied by Toya, Spinner, and Skeptic. There, the groundwork is laid. What a thrilling day we've had. More like a thrilling night. The sudden rash of violent escapees should hamper the authorities pursuing me. And now, would you good people be so kind as to stand guard while this body rests? We got along more than I thought. Bonded over gaming and stuff. Who are you? You're not the guy I agreed to follow. Spinner can sense that something is off. He's like, this is not the gamer that I came to admire and follow. You're not a true gamer. Who are you? And then All for One within Shigaraki says, have no fear. I hold the greatest respect for Tomura's will. This body simply needs time to rest and be perfected. But once it is, our desires will come to fruition.
No, you're not a gamer. No. You are not a gamer!
You must stay sharp, Todoroki. You must grow and improve. You will become my successor. No matter how many times you fail, you have to stand back up again. Don't worry. I am here for you.
This is just a terrible situation. There are now 2 all-for-ones. One was bad enough, but now we've got 2. And it doesn't look like Shigaraki has regained control of his body just yet. Maybe after resting, but based on that panel from last chapter with the mist wrapping around Shigaraki and all-for-one's hands kind of like puppeteering Shigaraki within his body, I don't know if he's going to relinquish control or not, but how long is it going to take for Tomura's body to be fully rested and to be perfected until these 2 make their next move? And now we are going over to our heroes at the hospital with a 2-day jump. We are flash forwarding 2 days later.
Meanwhile, those who were injured during the fight were transported to a nearby hospital for treatment.
2 days later.
Hey! Wake the fuck up! That hurts! What in the hell happened to me?
And we see Bakugo opening his eyes in the hospital, and he gets up frantically, looking around, but it doesn't look like anyone is in his hospital room right here. And he's taken off his oxygen mask. Ouch! Clenching his side and saying ouch, so he still feels the pain after being stabbed by Shigaraki.
You're alive!
And there are the other students. They walk into the room, and they are so happy to see Bakugo alive. But Bakugo is just yelling back at them, which, if Bakugo is yelling, you know he is alive and well. Mineta's got tears in his eyes as he says, "Ah, he's awake! Shut up! Where the hell am I? Hooray! That's the short-fused freak we know. Don't just brush me off like that." This is Central Hospital, the best place for state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line medical care. But thank goodness for real, we heard you took one nasty beating, that you were like stabbed in the guts. I'll tell the nurse he's up. And Mineta runs over to like hug Bakugo as he's crying. Hey! But Bakugo's face, complete 180 from him yelling at the top of this page to now him showing like concern. And he's asking about like Deku and Todoroki and everyone. I'm so glad you're alive, even if you are a punk. What about Deku and Todoroki and Sensei, our senpai, Endeavor? What's going on?
You don't want to know.
Yo, and Sero and Sato just got a gloomy look on their face as soon as Bakugo said that. And now we see Gran Torino in his hospital room, hooked up to some oxygen, all bandaged up, and the monitor says he's at 61 heartbeats per minute. Shimura. He's still conscious!
Holy whoa, he's dead!
I'm alive.
He's alive!
I mean, there's still a possibility that he won't survive the next couple of days. He could still die from the injuries that Shigaraki gave him, but he's still holding on. Yahoo! Who is this dinosaur Yoshi-looking doctor right here?
Are you a Yoshi?
Yes, Goku. I'm a green f***ing dinosaur.
Can I ride you?
I guess Yoshi got his doctorate in the My Hero universe. Both you and Gran Torino would have been much worse off if you'd gotten attention any later. You can thank Rocklock and the others for making your lives top priority. And we can see with Aizawa sitting in his bed right here, his eye is bandaged up, he's missing his leg, but Present Mike is right by his side. Even Kayama. Why? And he's bringing up Midnight's death to Aizawa right here. Enough, Yamada. I just want to know, how are the kids? Dad Zawa right there. He's definitely suppressing the feelings of learning about Midnight's death. because right now he is more concerned in making sure that all of his students are alive and well and are not injured. But once he gets that relief of the news, then he's gonna have to deal with those emotions with Midnight's death. And you just gotta feel bad for Aizawa and Present Mike, because first Shirakumo losing him, and now Midnight. Two friends, they grew up trying and learning to become heroes, and they have to deal with the death and the tragedy. And we cut away from Aizawa going over to Shoto's room. We see him sitting up in his bed, looking like a mummy, bandaged up all around his face right here. But you can see Momo, Ashido, Kirishima, and Shoji by his bedside. And a crowd is building outside the hospital with guards keeping them at bay. Don't let it get you down, dude. It'll be all right. We saw it, Todoroki. We know about the situation. It'll be okay.
When are you going to open the gates?
We hear your silence!
Has anyone been in contact with the families of the children you've allowed to be endangered?
And then we get to see the reporters moving in. Are you affiliated with Endeavor? What's his status? You must know, right? And is Endeavor even aware of the terrible state Japan's in right now?
Look!
Wait, is that Fuyumi and Natsuo walking through the reporters trying to get into the hospital?
Correct!
That would make sense. They would really be the only people affiliated with Endeavor that reporters would want to talk to. So they're trying to visit and see how Endeavor and Shoto are doing. But it looks like some of them are within surgery, as this sign says, surgery in progress. Everyone's dying to know about his connection with Dabi. When can we expect a press conference? We need some reassurance. We need to know. We'll put a rain check on that press conference because it's not happening anytime soon with the pro heroes unconscious in the hospital. And until Endeavor can actually walk out of this hospital, there ain't gonna be a press conference.
I can see the future!
That one is the root cause. His shining light beckons the dark. It precipitates our demise.
Let me die!
Nostradamus claimed he could see well into our future.
We're all going to burn! We're all going to die! You don't know what you're doing!
For all his vague language, those predictions point to the end of the world.
This is the end, Shoto Todoroki.
Star Servant predicted what would happen. Endeavor being the shining light that would beckon the dark. That was all the villains, but mostly Dabi/Toya. And Shoto's thinking back to that moment, and he was looking at Endeavor as Star Servant was spouting his nonsense.
Oh no.
And he had a concerned look on his face. He was hoping, it's like, whatever that man's saying, I hope that isn't going to come to pass. Flash forward, and it did. He predicted this dark future that they are now living in.
Am I cursed?
And you can just see Shoto just staring down at his bandaged hands. His flames are stronger than Dad's. I couldn't win with firepower alone. So strong. Those flames full of hate. And he's been watching us all this time. All to bring down Dad. Wrecking his own body along the way. And not giving a damn whose lives get ruined in the process.
I see now.
He's basically me. I was also burning with rage up until that day. Dad can't do it. I have to be the one to handle my brother Toya.
I don't know what happened to you. Well, isn't that a tragedy? Poor little Shoto Todoroki. I'm sorry about this, but thanks for drawing it out. Look at him. He's furious I'm not using his power. My past and blood. I can't ignore them forever. So, I'll surpass you.
Yo, that look on Shoto's face, just the blank stare, just having the realization just washing over him, and coming to terms with the fact that Dabi is in fact Toya, his long-lost, thought-to-be-dead brother. And he is realizing that Endeavor, his dad, cannot be the one to deal with Toya. It has to be him because, in a weird, twisted way, way back in the beginning of the story, Shoto was walking the same path that Toya is currently on.
You are me from the past or another future.
And because of that connection, He's realizing he is the only one that can possibly break through to Toya. But whether or not he can still remains to be seen, but they are going to be endgame. Shoto versus Toya is going to be endgame, whether it's defeating him or capturing him or making him come to his senses. We just have to wait and see. Shoto! Hey! I was right. So that was Fuyumi and Natsuo walking through the crowd of reporters to get into the hospital. And my god, Fuyumi. Looking amazing in this panel right here. God damn. And Kirishima just sits up really fast like, oh, hello. Oh, you must be Todoroki's big bro and sis. His throat's all burned so he can't talk.
Hi, Mom.
Yo, is that Ray?
Hello, Mom.
They let her out of the hospital? I honestly didn't think they would after her watching Dabi's broadcast. But I guess because Shoto and Endeavor are in the hospital themselves, they basically allowed it.
Meanwhile, back at the plot...
Damn it, Deku! This isn't part of the reception! How is he this strong? Get your damn hands off me before I break up! I don't take orders from you!
And then we cut over to Bakugo trying to walk through the hallway, but Sato and Minato are like being dragged behind him. They're trying to pull him, bring him back to his hospital bed. Gah, you trying to die, man? They told you not to be up and about. Cram it. And the strain from all that yanking is gonna kill me even harder. So you don't care then, huh? Ah, there's no stopping him. He's dead meat if he thinks he can die on me.
I'll kill him!
That right there is just classic Bakugo. He's talking about Deku, isn't he? He's basically like, if he dies, I'm gonna kill him. He cannot die on me. Todoroki and the others are conscious at least. All of them except for Midoriya. He's shown no sign of waking up.
You've done absurd damage to your body in the last few months. And frankly, this is a whole new league of trauma. It's bad for your bones and muscles to get battered, of course, but it's worse for your ligaments. Ligaments protect the joints, and yours have seriously degraded. In other words, I don't think you're going to be able to move your arms anymore.
So Deku is still unconscious. And look at his body.
Behold.
It is completely wrecked. Casts on both arms and both legs, unconscious in this hospital bed. And we have All Might at his bedside, waiting for his disciple, his student, his successor, to wake up out of this coma he is in. But yo, how is his mother going to react to this? Because she couldn't handle the events of the training camp arc. And this is like 10 times worse for Deku.
Izuku, my baby, I can't do this anymore. I don't think my heart can handle another scare.
I'm curious to see where Inko is right now and how she's going to react to all this, because she might have a heart attack when all is said and done. But that is the end of the chapter. Next chapter hits January 31st.
After the incident, paramedics brought me to a hospital where I slipped in and out of consciousness for 2 days.
Young Midoriya, rest easy.
Damn it, Deku! Wake the fuck up!
This was a good chapter to give us a little bit of a breather away from the action and the chaos that has been ensuing this entire arc. We are done with the battles. The prison breaks are basically done at this point, and All for One is allowing Shigaraki's body to rest, recuperate, to become perfected, and when that time comes, then they will make their move. But in terms of our heroes right now, Bakugo and Shoto are currently awake. They are going to be okay. Aizawa and Gran Torino, I'm curious with them, especially with Gran Torino, because I'm not sure if he will make it out of this arc. He could still potentially die, but I still want him to have like a final conversation, if that is the case, with All Might and Deku. But we still don't know the status of Hawks, Ryukyu? My girl Mirko? What's going on with Mirko right now? I need to know that my girl is still alive. But Deku, being unconscious for 2 days after the battle, not waking up, just having All Might by his side. Where is his mom? That's what I really want to know. And the coma that he is in, is this going to lead us into like a potential Vestige dream again? Because he's unconscious, maybe he's being trapped in a Vestige dream and has to talk with a past user. And once that happens, then he'll wake up from his coma and then he can start to realize and get like the lay of the land of what has transpired since the ending of the battle. So with that, guys, that right there is my live reaction to chapter 298 of My Hero Academia. We are 2 chapters away from chapter 300, and I am looking forward to seeing what these next few chapters have in store for us. But for right now, I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on the events of this chapter and dealing with the end of the prison break that All For One has conducted, and then, of course, learning all about how our heroes are recuperating at the hospitals, with Bakugo, with Shoto, with Aizawa and Gran Torino, as well as all the other ones we did not see this chapter, but specifically with Deku still being in the coma after 2 days. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon that you guys can be alerted for every new MHA reaction that pops up on the channel. But if you guys want to talk about other things or talk about MHA outside of YouTube, feel free to also follow me over on Twitter. A link to my Twitter account can also be found in the description down below. That's going to do it for me here, guys. So until next week, when we have chapter 299 of My Hero Academia, I'll talk to you guys next time. But remember, go beyond plus ultra.